Hello and welcome to the rings here at Ringwood. It's the Ringwood Hawks up against the Geelong Super Cats. And in the women's game, it was the Ringwood Hawks who reigned supreme, handing Geelong just their second loss of the season. My name's Matt Hickey. I'm joined by Russell Lee. Russell, it's great to have you with me, but I'm going to kick you out.
Thank you. Look, Brady's a better man than me anyway.
We're going to get you back, but we're going to introduce Brady Cochran, the Clubfoot Ambassador, who's been putting on a great show and a bit of a media mogul. He's been on the radio during the week. He's just been going to put me out of a job sooner or later. But Brady, thanks for coming up and joining us. And what's a massive night for raising money?
Yeah, thank you.
And why don't you tell us a bit about the cause that we're raising money for here tonight?
Basically, so when I was born, the soles of my feet were touching my calf, basically, and
he's getting hand-delivered drinks as well. We're waiting on ours, but that's all right.
Anyway, so basically, yeah. So when I was born, yeah, I had that. So obviously I'm born in Australia, so I have like good treatment here. But for people in third world countries and things, they're in the same position as me, but they don't have their treatment. So yep. I always loved helping people, but I thought like making this fundraiser would be great to help obviously raise funds for people with the same condition as me and help them get the treatment that they need and they deserve, to be honest.
Awesome, you're a bloody champion, Brady. And how many years in a row is it now that we've had the Clubfoot game?
I think this is
the fifth year, which is very, very impressive. And we were lucky enough to have a bit of an NBA star jump on board and help us out this year as well.
Yeah, I've met Matthew Delvedova, obviously the person I'm talking about.
The man, Matthew Delvedova.
Yep. And basically, I think I went to one of his basketball camps, and I was the only one in the wheelchair, which was an able-bodied camp, but I was in a wheelchair. After the camp, I gave him one of the wristbands. It was kind of just like a reminder, just get it, break up.
Yep.
And if you look on like his Instagram and all like his YouTube and stuff, he always wears the wristband during his workout videos. And then that was kind of where the connection started. I went to another one of his camps, and then like next week I'm seeing him actually. So
awesome.
He's coming out.
That's awesome. And he donated a signed jersey and a signed pair of his shoes. So thank you to Matt Delvedova and everybody who's donated, because we had the raffle, which we were up there presenting, and there was all 15 plus prizes, so there was plenty going on. Now we're going to let you go and enjoy the game because you deserve to enjoy the game. But quickly, I think I know who you're going to tip, but who do you think is going to win?
The Geelong Supercats, obviously. I'm just kidding.
No, yeah. For a second, I thought you got me.
Hey, we've never lost in a Clubfoot game at all.
There you go.
So high stakes.
Perfect record. You're the lucky charm. All right, thank you, Brady. We'll let you go enjoy the game.
Thank you.
And that headset back over to Russell Lee. What an absolute legend, Brady Cochran. And as I mentioned, he's going to put me out of my journalism and media job sooner rather than later, I think. And Russell, I mean, it's great to have you back, but I think everybody would rather have Brady on.
Then you? Yeah, I agree. As Sean Clark, low post, unable to connect on first offensive possession for the Hawks.
And DeMarcus Gatlin back the other way. So this is a Geelong Supercats team, as we've got a loose ball there and Ringwood come up with it.
Yeah, Sturgis
it was Lewis
took it
Thomas that lost control. This is a Geelong team that's right in the mix for finals, having a good season so far. Super strong team and led by DeMarcus Gatlin, number 5 as we see. Shot buried, and it's going to be back the other way, Anthony Williams.
Yeah, nice shot there by Fennell. I think as he leaned back, Gatlin actually got a hand to the shot, so it's a bit surprising that it went in.
And good to see Jacob Gibson suited up tonight. Of course, has been battling injuries. We see it's going to be free throws going the way of Lewis Thomas, but Jacob Gibson is suited up, starting on the bench, but we're hoping he gets on the floor after battling some bone bruising. He was joined me up here in the commentary box last Ringwood Hawks home game, but I'd much rather have him out on the floor.
He had some limited minutes against a great game against Nunawading on the road last weekend. But, yeah, still a little bit underdone with his injury concern, as you just talked about. As Thomas misses his first free throw attempt after Matty Fennell sent him to the line on a dribble penetration. Makes a second.
You know, with Ringwood, Adrian Sturt, he's going to play a huge factor. Of course, had a 40-point game here last time he played in this venue. So keep a close eye on Adrian Sturt. Speaking of, on cue. And he couldn't quite get it to drop. In terms of Geelong, well, DeMarcus Gatlin, 20 points per game. He has been dominating for them. Thomas with 15 a game. as the ball goes wide to Williams for a corner 3, and he buries it. And that man, he's averaging 13.6 points per game on the season and shooting about 30% from deep.
Snow controlling the offense. Adrian Sturt left wide open. Kicks it onto Fennell for an open triple. Unable to connect. Sean Clark with an offensive rebound, but fouled on the pull down.
Against Marlo Hicks, two guys that have battled numerous times before when Marlo was playing for Corio Bay. Of course, Ringwood and Corio Bay had plenty of Big V clashes, including in Grand Final Series, so those two very familiar with each other.
Absolutely they are, and they won't give each other an inch, that's for sure. As Sturt lines up again, unable to connect. Great offensive board there by Fennell, just out-muscling his opponent to get the putback too.
Fantastic job, Matty Fennell, guy. He's going to fill up the stat sheet, crashes the board so hard as we see Williams not quite. Big rebound and a good finish from Lewis Thomas. He's playing very well to start this game. He's been a real focal point for Geelong so far in this one.
Yeah, disappointing attempt there on the defensive rebound by the Hawks.
Sean Clark.
Just unable to connect. He had a number of open ones down the stretch against Nunawading last week. They kept leaving him open. We know he can knock it down. That one went halfway and rolled back out.
DeMarcus Gatlin hits 2 back the other end. And what do you think about the mismatching shoes? He's got the red and the blue, maybe in July 4th spirit. Wasn't that long ago, as we see a great find from Joey Miller into the hands of Adrian Sturt for an easy deuce.
Oh, I think you're spot on there. It would be the theme of, the mismatching shoes. And I think any player that puts themselves in a position where they get noticed based on what they're wearing, they need to be able to back it up with their gameplay. And absolutely no doubt that DeMarcus can.
I'd say you rolling around in the fluoro wheel, surely.
Oh, look, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I'm sure I could back that up as a high-quality coach, not a player.
Good pass from Williams, and it's a strong start here from Corio. And it was good work from Marlo Hicks in the low block. Sorry, Geelong, I've said Corio there.
Force a habit, as you talked about those great battles in the past.
Hicks in there as well. Matt Snow. Now with Joey Miller in rhythm, off a double pick, couldn't get it to go. Sean Clark, an easy rebound. Stripped by Hicks, got it back, drew the foul, and he's going to shoot 2. So an interesting battle, but Sean Clark probably getting the better in terms of the low block, managing to get on the offensive glass at the moment.
Yeah, it's hurt both teams, actually. The inability to block out on the offensive end, and paying dividends for the Hawks at the moment with Sean Clark having an opportunity to ice a couple from the line.
Second personal for Marlo Hicks, so he goes to the bench in steps. 204-centimetre Liam McInerney, number 24 for Geelong.
Handy player for any team coming off the bench, starting Marlo and bringing in McInerney. That's extreme depth in that low post.
Sean Clark to the free throw line. Always has had such a sweet stroke. Sean Clark, so he buries the first. Back iron off the second. I've well and truly put the Moz on him there. 7-10. Ringwood trail Geelong with the ball. Ball down low. Taking his time in the post. Lewis Thomas has been good. Here's Gatlin. Shoots the 3. Hesitated. Got it up. Matty Fennell. Nice pass fake. Gave it to Sean Clark. And now off to the floor general, Matt Snow. Fennell turns the corner, was fouled by Gatlin. Almost makes the post foul overhead flick. That would have been impressive. The kids were eager for that one to drop.
Yeah, little murmurs from the crowd on that one. Ringwood inbound sideline. Joey Miller. Good hard show off the pick and roll situation. Sturt up fake, back to Miller. Good defense there by Wusu.
And considering the great up fake, you thought Ringwood were going to potentially get a better look than that, but it was good recovery from Geelong. DeMarcus Gatlin back the other way now down to Lewis Thomas. Super silky in the low block, but a great bit of defense from Adrian Sturt. Jeez, he's so long and has great timing defending the ball.
Yeah, a good defensive play there. Sean Clark thinking about the triple. Fennell short corner.
I guarantee if he made the first one, he would have shot that one. Sturt a little rushed on the pull-up triple, and it rims out. Gatlin on the trail manages to tip it up and in. And Matt Snow has copped one right where you don't want to cop one. I think it was the knee of Anthony Williams. And you've just got to jog that one out, Snowy, I think, because that is an absolute stinger. Sturt draws the foul on Thomas, who's not pleased with the foul call, but it's going to be free throws to Adrian Sturt. Matt Snow wanting a foul for that errant knee, but not getting it, and he's still just taking some time, Russell.
Yes, he is, as any player would that cop one to that area. Sturt now at the line. 5-point deficit for the Hawks. Nails the first. Just under the 5-minute mark here in the first period.
Adrian Sturt is aggressive and avoids foul trouble. He is one of the more destructive scorers in the league, and that was showcased when he dropped 40 only a few weeks ago. A 40 piece. So let's see if he can get going for Ringwood. He's up to 4. Hawks trail by 3. Here's Gatlin. Owusu, and he stepped out of bounds, and here's something that we notice a lot, Russell Lee. Players go to take off, the back foot goes back as Jacob Gibbons is just about to check in, as is Trevor Latham, and they step out of bounds. Geez, it happens a lot.
Yeah, it's a coach killer. Absolute coach killer.
Spoken like somebody who was torn his hair out, seeing his players do that.
I'll give a shout out to Lockyer Hale. He's a terrible culprit. Thanks very much, Lockie, for turning the ball over many times in our offense.
Sneaky drive-by from Russ there. Snow turns the corner, maybe got away with a carry, goes this way, that way. Somehow gets a shot up. Wanted a foul, didn't get it. Here's Gatlin. Thought about getting upstairs and did. Two-hand flush. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, DeMarcus Gatlin.
Yeah, great push there. Snowy had nowhere to go offensively. Good defence there by Geelong as Adrian Sturt's able to hit a runner, and a little frustration foul as they come away. Geelong come away with the defensive rebound.
Took the words right out of my mouth as Ken Harrington calls a timeout. And that little frustration foul, I'm sure if he had air, he'd be pulling it out at this point. They trail by 5. And just their offense struggling a little bit. And credit the defense of Geelong, but maybe the execution not quite there for Ringwood.
Yeah, offense is a key aspect of what's going on wrong for the Hawks at the moment. They're only 33% from the field versus Geelong's 50% overall. DeMarcus Gatlin only 5 to 6 minutes into this one, and he's already got 6 points, 4 rebounds.
Except for a big night.
Yeah, look to those stats to continue trucking upwards as the night rolls on. For the Hawks, it's Matty Fennell and Adrian Sturt with 4 points apiece. But Adrian Sturt shooting a near 20% from the field. He's had the looks, just been unable to convert at this point in time.
So we've played just a tick over 5.5 minutes so far in this first quarter, and it's Ringwood 9, Geelong 14. Geelong have the ball to restart after the Ringwood Hawks timeout. A reminder, the earlier game, it was the Lady Hawks who got a win, just the second loss of the season for Geelong, as we see Gatlin with the impressive little one-legged step back, couldn't quite get it to go. Gibson, they let McInerney wide open. No help defence on the interior, and 2 points for Geelong.
Yeah, great chase down by McInerney on the offensive rebound, and good baseline drive for the 2 points. Latham, errant pass from Fennell, looks to take it at the rim, doesn't get anywhere close, but looking to the official like he wanted some contact call there. Sturt trying to keep it in bounds, but deflected out of bounds. Rabula inbounding, and Owusu looking to regroup the Geelong offense.
The lob for Thomas was almost on. Now they go to the low block, but good hands from Trevor Latham. And back comes Matt Snow in the other direction. Yet to record an assist, but I'm sure it won't take long till he picks one up. Horn's screen comes at the top. He dishes the ball across to Matt Fennell, who's got 4 points and 3 rebounds. Gibson with the cut, but good hands from Owusu, who's super quick. McInerney, the big fella on the break. And that's what happens when the big fella gets on the break. Cross court, and Owusu is everywhere. Telegraph that one.
Yeah, a little bit erratic on both teams' offensive ends, as McInerney basically passed straight to Fennell, and then Fennell cross-court pass, and Owusu got some hands to deflect out. Snowy can't catch pass off Sturt. It's just very, very sporadic at the moment.
Gibson with the pull-up jumper, keen to get involved in the game. Latham couldn't quite bring in the rebound. There was a little touch from Lewis Thomas. Here comes Gatlin. Been playing well, crossover, baseline, big block from Latham. He's called for a foul.
I'm not sure where that foul was, to be honest.
That's a stiff call, I agree.
Yeah, there's a lot of ball contact. Referees were closer than us, but...
Matty Fennell going to check out. Truman stepping in.
Yeah, Gatlin might have got bailed out on that one.
So it'll be DeMarcus Gatlin at the line. He's got 6 points, 5 rebounds already. He will look to add to that tally and look to push Geelong up. They lead by 7 at the moment.
Gatlin nails the first.
Rolls in.
8-point deficit now for the Hawks, 9-17.
Results elsewhere so far tonight in terms of the women. Bendigo got the win over Diamond Valley. Frankston over Melbourne. Nunawading knocked over Knox. Eltham beat Albury Wodonga. Ballarat knocked over Hobart. And of course Ringwood beat Geelong. Kilsyth over Launceston. So there are all your results for the women's as Trevor Latham goes in and buries 2, a much needed 2 for the Ringwood Hawks. And the men's games just getting started around the states that compete in the NBL1.
The Supercats there changing up their defence, but a full court pass to Trevor Latham for an easy 2. Probably not what Coach Leon O'Neill was after with that change-up.
And Owusu continues to get his hands in. He's a fantastic defender, such speed. He's going to get the ball here. No, he doesn't. DeMarcus Gatlin, a few too many bicep curls, and he throws that one out of bounds.
Yeah, hit some visiting crowd members in the stands at the rings.
Good to see them getting involved in the raffle as well. And head coach Leon O'Neill won one of the prizes, won the NBA official game ball, and gave it back to Brady, saying, "You keep this," which was very, very kind of him and a great act. Sturt got to the ring and he fluffed the layup. It's going to be Geelong ball.
Yeah, all class there by Leon O'Neill. As our viewers have heard, Brady's an unbelievably strong young man. Very proud of him here at the Ringwood Hawks, and going above and beyond for anyone else suffering from clubfoot around the world. Just a stellar young person of the Ringwood community.
Very well put, as you see Michael Rabula miss a mid-range jumper down the other end for Geelong. Ball can get to the corner. Truman was always ready to shoot it. Couldn't get that one to go. It's going to be Ringwood Hawks ball. Also into the game for Geelong is Josh Tang. And Snow checking out Joey Miller into the game.
Ringwood bounce baseline inbound. Quick little set for Jacob Gibson. We see it all too often. Nails the 2.
And moving relatively well at the moment, Jacob Gibson. So good signs for Ringwood as they look to pick up a few wins in the back half of the season. Here's Gatlin. Good defense. Tough left hand flick layup. Great touch around the rim from DeMarcus Gatlin. And he's got 10 for the night.
Yeah, it was nothing but a late, very tough shot off the left hand, off the glass, falling away.
It was pretty good defense from Gibson. And speaking of Gibson, that one doesn't quite roll in.
Another triple going halfway down. Good hard running there by Rabula up the floor, but Thomas unable to give him the ball at a pace that allowed him to gather and finish.
And a full court trap here, so a 1-2-2 by the looks of things as they're going to look to trap in the corner. They're just taking their time here, Ringwood, which was the smart call. Gibson steps into a 3. Couldn't get it to go. Trev Latham again contesting for the rebound, but geez, Lewis Thomas has some long arms and managed to get a hand on that one.
Yeah, Trevor Latham was an option wide open in the key there, but both Truman and Gibson decided not to give him the ball, rather opting for the triple. Ringwood shooting percentage still at 33%, as Thomas unable to connect on his running layup, and Truman, interesting choice.
Oh, the buzzer beater to go. It was a broken, ugly play for the Ringwood Hawks. But Adrian Sturt comes up right when they needed him to and brings this back to a 5-point ball game. But it was Geelong's quarter. They lead 20-15. We'll take a break and be back with the second quarter right after this. Welcome back to the rings as we restart for the second quarter. And as we do, Russell Lee, do you have the stats for the first quarter in front of you there?
Yeah, we do. DeMarcus Gatlin leading all scorers with 10 points, with Adrian Sturt now with 6, hitting that last buzzer-beating J. He was just 2 of 7 from the field. Matty Fennell, 3 rebounds. DeMarcus Gatlin also with 6. Joey Miller and Owusu, 2 assists each.
Good pass from Jacob Gibson. Fantastic find, and such quality and class he brings when he's out there on the floor. And interestingly, there was only one player for Geelong who did multiple baskets in that first quarter. It was DeMarcus Gatlin. As we see Rabula not quite finish that one, and Adrian Sturt comes up with the board.
Yeah, kicks it to Truman. Truman looking for
great find.
Latham on that back cut.
Fantastic bounce pass.
Geelong wouldn't be too happy with that defensive effort. Leon O'Neill on the sideline shaking his head as the Hawks have got 2 quick transition buckets.
Geez, the Ringwood Hawks look so much better when they're moving off the ball and not just standing and watching. Here's Marlo Hicks. He's got 2 personal fouls. Good defense from Trevor Latham. Great defense. Tough fall-away jumper, though. That was sweet from Marlo Hicks.
That was class. He's been a veteran of both C-Ball and Big V championship level for a long time. No doubt can play.
So we've played about a minute and a half here in the second quarter, 19-24. Adrian Sturt backing down Thomas, fall-away jumper, trying to do what Marlo Hicks did on the other end of the floor, but he couldn't get it to go.
Yeah, probably not the best offensive option there for the Hawks. Would have liked to have seen it get through a few more hands.
Here's Williams, Rabula. They look to go down to the low block. Interesting battle between these two, and that was a clear hand in from Nathan Truman. Mark Goodwin down there in the low block. And while we've got a chance, quick shout out to Optus Stud Park. And if you go down and see our very own Luke Brody, he's guaranteed to look after you. And I don't know if you're due for a new phone, Russell Lee, but I wish I was so I could head down to Optus Stud Park.
Look, I'm not up for a due phone, but that's the first place I would go. There is no doubt. Just like if I need a new car, Hickey, and based on your late arrival to the game this evening, I believe you're in the market.
I'm very much in the market. I know exactly where I'm going, Russell Lee.
Suggest maybe Mazda in Ringwood.
Be my first stop, no doubt about that. Geez, I'm due for a new set of wheels, that's for sure. So 21-26 Geelong's way at the moment. Lewis Thomas now with the ball, guarded by Adrian Sturt. That hander was loose and he almost tripped over. Spinning around gets the ball to Hicks, and that was not the prettiest of shots. Geez, Lewis Thomas gets up with long arms. Those two guys, Sturt and Thomas, battling away is going to be entertaining all night long. Here is Sturt. Wanted a foul, didn't get it. It's going to roll in. He's putting his hands up to the official saying, where's the contact in that one?
It was a bit of a miracle roll, that's for sure.
Lost the handle on the shot, got it back. Here's Rabula, blocked by Gibson. Touchdown pass, back to Jacob Gibson, who missed the gimme layup, a little too strong off the back iron. Here's Williams at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Leads 3. This game is going back and forth at the moment. Williams. He couldn't get it to go. Joey Miller will now run the break for Ringwood. Too quick. Sturt trailing 3. Couldn't get it to go. Truman out of nowhere, not quite. Lewis Thomas again with the tip.
Yeah, just looking for a team here to slow it down. It looks like Geelong is. Been a little bit scrappy the last few possessions. Quick shots, uncontested shots for that matter. And Williams knocks down a deep triple. Top of the key.
Williams for 3. Wasn't the prettiest looking shot out of the hand, but it went in. Doesn't matter how you get them. As long as you get them, doubles the lead. 6 points now the way of Geelong. And there's going to be a foul, and it's going to be an offensive foul on Nathan Truman. So he's been pinged for 2. And again, he's not happy. So a bit of back chat at the moment from both teams, specifically Ringwood so far. They're still right in this game as Gatlin checks back in. Nathan Truman with a job guarding him.
Williams running the set for Geelong. Gatlin decides to pull up over Truman, and nothing but net. He's up to 12 points, 6 rebounds.
Quite a slow release for DeMarcus Gatlin. It's quite noticeable when you watch him live. Quite a slow release, but doesn't matter. He gets the job done, has enough space off the dribble and with his athleticism to get the ball up. And most of the time it tends to go in Joey Miller. That's a tough, tough look. Lewis Thomas almost lost it, but managed to drag it in, and Geelong will come back the other way.
Yeah, I think Joey Miller's feeling contact from Williams, being played very closely. So chose to throw it up, but referee's not rewarding the contact that Joey's feeling.
Timeout on the floor from Ken Harrington, and you see as soon as DeMarcus Gatlin checks back into the game, it changes. It turns on a dime. He's hitting jump shots. He's dishing. He's doing it all. 12 points, 6 rebounds, and assists, shooting at 71%. He's been the difference at the moment. The Geelong Supercats, they trail 33-23 now. Russell, I don't know about you, but I personally haven't been able to have a bite of dinner yet. So,
very true. I haven't either.
I don't know. We might. Hopefully, we can. I might make a quick phone call to Original Joe's in Croydon, the best pizza going around in the eastern suburbs, and hopefully we can get something delivered here because that stuff is well worth getting into.
Look, yeah, Vince is a great bloke. He has looked after the club for a number of years, and wasn't that long ago we had the entire youth league crew down there dominating the restaurant.
I think it's been the go-to for the youth league team for the past, I don't know, 10 years.
Yeah, look, it has been. Back with Coach Sutto.
It's because it's that good.
And yeah, in the later times with the unfortunate players experiencing me as coaching them, it is an absolute staple.
I know, I've been through some hardships in my life, and that's got to be... No, you're kidding. I'm joking around.
It is a staple. An absolute staple. Incredible, delivering to our venue here at the Rings, our training venues during the week when called upon. Vince and the entire crew at Original Joe's will be there soon for dinner.
And Joey Miller will go to the free throw line. And we've got a few more of the great sponsors down here at Ringwood. Of course, the Bendigo Bank Ringwood, who are helping out the schools and community program, getting our imports and a number of our players out to the primary schools, teaching all things basketball, giving away some basketballs as well. As into the game checks Cohen Blythe.
Maybe grab your car loan from the Bendigo Bank and then head to Mazda in Ringwood to purchase some new wheels. Hickey.
This is just working out beautifully for me, isn't it?
Isn't it? Yeah.
Fantastic stuff. Maker Sports as well, who have all the Hawks gear. If you head to www.ringwoodhawks.com.au, you can get your own Ringwood Hawks jersey of your favourite player. And one last one before we get right back into the action. Physica, who look after our players with aplomb and do a fantastic job. And even if you're not an elite athlete, you need to get your body sorted, that is the place to go.
No doubt about it. Darren, who looks after Physica in Ringwood, has been around a long time. In actual fact, I was telling one of the young youth league players, he was my physio back in under 16s when I was a junior here. He knows what he's talking about, Darren.
Indeed, he does. Here come the Geelong Supercats. They lead by 8. DeMarcus Gatlin, as I mentioned, has been the difference. That one, though, was way off. And it's Matt Fennell that comes up with the ball.
Snowy regrouping the Hawks offense here. Being face guarded by Williams. Snowy swipes it away.
Interesting play. You don't normally see many teams face guard, as we see Trevor Latham show his sweet shooting touch, and you'll find every player on this Ringwood Hawks roster can shoot the ball from deep.
Not sure that Latham from deep is in the scouting report for Geelong somehow, though. A rare occasion where Trev would even choose to shoot one.
Indeed it is, but I don't think you can actually get on the court for Ken Harrington unless you can stroke it from distance.
I'd argue that because Matthew Roberts is checking in, so...
A man that you've had the pleasure of coaching and I've had the pleasure of playing with.
No,
Matty Roberts, good to see him getting some minutes.
Absolutely shoot the rock. And great to see him finishing off this.
And you don't have to ask him twice either.
No, it's true. Absolutely.
DeMarcus Gatlin makes the first free throw. So that ends the 5-zip scoring run that Ringwood did have up until that point. And as I was mentioning earlier, as Gatlin misses the free throw, Matty Snow was talking some trash to the free throw shooter. And as I mentioned earlier, it's unusual for teams to face guard Matt Snow as Joey Miller launches a three and buries it. So a big shot for Ringwood, cuts the lead in half back to 3. Normally you see them back off almost back to the key, Russell Lee.
Correct.
And let's Let's see what the Hawks can do. They're on a run here. Williams pulls up for three, and that is way off. Gatlin somehow flicked that back in. It would have been one for the NBL1 top 10 highlight reel, but it was out of bounds. He flicked it back between his legs straight to Marlo Hicks. Almost play of the night right there, but stepped out of bounds before he jumped, so it'll be Ringwood Hawks basketball.
Yeah, not to be. Still a bit of token full court pressure here. Cohen Blythe has also checked in for the Supercats. Another excellent junior out of the Corio Bay program.
Tough pass. Somehow gets to Clark. Also, Lewis Thomas on Matt Roberts, so as we see a foul, it's going to be free throws for Sean Clark. So Thomas coming in at a very lengthy 202 centimetres. And Matt Roberts, well, he's listed himself at 185, but I don't know how much truth there is to that listing. As we see Hicks step out and Owusu come in.
Geelong have gone a little bit smaller here, with Owusu checking in for Marlo Hicks. So we've got Blythe, Owusu, Williams, and Gatlin.
Now, Owusu didn't score hasn't scored yet, has 3 rebounds, 2 assists and a steal, but geez, his defense was fantastic and caused Ringwood plenty of issues in the first quarter in particular.
But he has high energy player, and if Coach O'Neill doesn't need to coach that sort of aspect of the game, he can just rely on defensive and offensive sets. It's going to set them up for a bit of an edge.
And Williams doing a thing that you see a lot actually in the NBA. After the first free throw, they switch over sides and look to delay the second free throw a little bit. I think it's a strange kind of putting off tactic and attempt to ice the shooter, and it doesn't work.
Deficit of 2, 34-32.
This game has tightened up into a 2-3 zone for now for Ringwood as Thomas loses it, comes out to Blythe for 3, and he knocks that down. So again, Ringwood play this kind of match-up zone. It's quite difficult to get a grip of exactly which player is going where, but they rely on their communication, and it's a pretty handy and tough to get the ball over the hands of Lewis Thomas when he sticks up those go-go gadget arms.
Very, very true. Great stop there after that triple by Blythe. Owusu, who you said hadn't scored yet, now does, as he nails a triple, back-to-back triples by the Supercats, and deficit has gone to 8, just like that.
Just as we were talking about how it was tightening up, it balloons back out to 8. Here's Joey Miller, pull-up, mid-range jumper. Can he get it to go? He does. Nice shot from Joey Miller. He needs to start finding his stroke. Up to 7 points now with 4 assists.
Yeah, definitely needed that steadier, did the Hawks. Bit of a token zone, token man situation here. They're filling space. No, it is a man. Looking to go DeMarcus down low against Sean Clark. He fancies himself. A lot of contact by Sean. And he's heading back to the line.
So Clark having a discussion with the official just about that foul call. Wasn't overly pleased with it. As we see Gatlin go to the free throw line. He's got 13 and 7 so far tonight. Make that 14 and 7.
Excellent first half by DeMarcus Gatlin. Filling the stat sheet.
And the second also good for Gatlin. So lead is at 8 at the moment. Matty Fennell will initiate the offense for Ringwood. Comes off a pick and roll with Clark. Hands to Roberts. Hesitation. Miller. And that's got to be a foul, you'd think.
Great defense again by Owusu. Irrespective of whether it was a foul or not, he guessed.
Won the ball for his team.
Yep, he guessed where Miller was going.
He's an elite defender, Owusu. Good hustle from Joe Miller to get back into the picture there. And we've got a timeout going the way of Leon O'Neill. 42-34, the Geelong Supercats, they have the lead at the moment. Russell Lee, how have you seen what's been almost 2 full quarters of basketball?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm a little bit surprised that Geelong aren't a little bit further up. Ringwood have been able to level the shooting percentages a little bit. They only trail by 2% overall from 2 at 46% versus 48. However, it's the 3-point shooting that is the biggest difference here, with Ringwood only 2 of 10 from deep, but the Geelong Supercats 4 of 6. That will tell a story as the game rolls on. And DeMarcus Gatlin is someone that Ringwood just have no control over at the moment. He is doing what he wants, when he wants. He's been highly efficient. shooting 63% from the field, 15 points to go with 7 boards. For Ringwood, it was Trevor Latham in his minutes off the bench that produced a great scoring run of 11.
Indeed, Trevor Latham very, very handy off the pine. And got a quick second here. Congratulations. So what's been a fantastic youth championship season so far for your crew, Russell Lee. Despite missing some big parts from last season.
That wouldn't be you, would it, Hickey?
No, I wouldn't be talking about myself in that sense, no.
We're talking about Ryan Miller.
Yes. It's been a fantastic run for your crew, so congratulations so far, and hopefully you can carry that on through the playoffs.
I appreciate that, Hickey. The boys have worked hard. Very proud of their efforts so far.
We restart here at the Rings, and it is Geelong who lead by 8 inside a minute and a half to go in the first half. Pick's going to come from Thomas. Williams look to go away for it now, goes to it. Here's Blythe for 3, back iron, not quite.
Joey Miller continuing to be guarded by Owusu, who's done a great job on the defensive end. Snowy back into the game for Matthew Roberts. Sean Clark backing down.
Off the rim, so an NBA it would have been a goal 10, but in FIBA rules, if it goes off the rim, you can do that. And that's going to be a blocking foul on Matt Snow, and I'm not quite sure what for exactly. Seemed to be quite straight up. He's not complaining too much about it, so he may have just collected him.
Excuse me.
As Russell Lee just coughs up a lung on air.
Yeah, apologies for that. I've just...
Need to lay off the smokes, Russell.
Clearly. I was just watching the clarification from the official to Joey Miller after that snowball foul. It seemed that he was pointing to the no charge zone, indicating that is why Snowy picked up the
So the no charge
foul.
zone exists, does it?
Apparently.
Much to my surprise. Surely then, if there's contact, it's just a no call.
Well,
can we get someone to bring up a throat lozenge for Russell Lee? He's really having some issues.
it's really not that bad. Give me a break.
Commentary booth.
You're taking
a lozenge. Piss. We need a lozenge.
You're absolutely taking the piss. Great defence again by Owusu on Miller. Cross screen through the key here. McInerney guarding Sean Clark. Enough pressure, and the Hawks have thrown it away.
Sean Clark was saying right here as he was holding up his big left mitt saying, give me the ball. And we've got another timeout on the floor. And Owusu's one of those guys that probably isn't going to be up for Defensive Player of the Year because he might not get the block stats or he might not average 3 steals a game. But he is such a high class defender. Little tips here and there, little touches here and there, those little 1%ers, and he's a fantastic defender.
Yeah, well, I suppose that's why Kent Harrington went after a guard like Joey Miller in the off-season, that transition from playing Big V Championship into NBL1. He needed someone that had the speed and the capacity to play against an Owusu, but Owusu at the moment has absolutely got it in the bag. He's... Despite Miller's 7 points, he's just causing all sorts of strife across the floor for the Hawks, and has forced a number of the turnovers that Ringwood have, coughed up.
They've coughed up 7 of them. Geelong also 7. 10-point margin the way of the Super Cats at the moment. We've got 34 and a half to play in the second quarter, and of course, a big day here and big night here at Ringwood as we raise money for Miracle Feet. Aussie Clubfoot kids. We're doing great work down here in our man who was on earlier, Brady, doing some fantastic work as we look to raise some money. We're going to have a half-court shootout at half-time as well as Williams launches a 3 and Sturt failed to box out the shooter, so Williams got it right back and he'll reset, although cannot hold for one because they're inside single digits. Loose ball to Thomas, got it to Owusu, high arcing 3, couldn't go. Sturt now. And they'll have inside 10 seconds. Miller, good catch. Owusu maybe got away with one and maybe got away with another one. Half court from Williams. And he's not going to be in the half court shootout because that missed by an absolute mile. Half time, Russell Lee, and it is the Ringwood Hawks. They trail by 10, a bit of work to do. Yeah, no doubt about it. It's offensive efficiency, especially from deep for the Hawks, as we mentioned before. But DeMarcus Gatlin for Geelong, Ringwood have got to do something about him. He has 15 and 7. For the Hawks, it's Trevor Latham with 11 off the bench. It comes down to that offensive efficiency for the Hawks, and what are they going to do about Gatlin?
for
And
me.
3-point shooting as well, 2 of 10 from deep. That efficiency you mentioned, Russell, for Ringwood Hawks, and normally an excellent 3-point shooting team. So we're going to have a quick break here, and we'll be back with the second half, and let's see if the Ringwood Hawks can bring this and make it a contest. Hello and welcome back to the Rings. It is the Geelong Supercats. They lead the home team, the Ringwood Hawks, by 10 points so far at this stage of the game. And it's been to Marcus Gatlin. He's got 15.7 rebounds and an assist. I'm joined by Russell Lee. And Russell, it's been an interesting first half of basketball. And during the break, we had a half-court shootout and 2 half-court shots went down. And the fine people, Brett Freeman and Noel Jones, they're donating money to the winner, but also giving $500 to the Miracle Feet organisation that we're raising money for. So fantastic work for him. And after the first shot, he reached into his own wallet and he said, we'll give another 50 to the next shot to make it as well. So fantastic work from Noel Jones and Brett Freeman. Yeah,
Brett Freeman, top bloke. And Hickey, whilst you're heading to Bendigo Bank to get a loan for your car, you might as well just take out a loan, buy a house from Brett as well, head down to see Brodie at Optus Stud Park, get a new phone. Driving around in your brand new Mazda from Ringwood Mazda as well. Just, you'll be
just
set.
All happening
you'll
for me, isn't it?
Absolutely set.
And well, I already go to Genesis Ringwood Gym, who is another fine sponsor. So, I mean, it's just really it's all coming up me at this point.
Absolutely.
Russell.
And pizza on the way home from Original Joe's in Croydon Main Street.
You beauty.
Wow, what a day.
You're pretty much my manager now, Russell.
Well, clearly.
Life advisor.
I don't get paid for it, so I don't know why I'm doing it.
No, that's a terrible attitude to have, Russell.
I'm okay with that.
He doesn't go anywhere unless there's a big cheque being signed.
That's exactly why I'm here right now.
We have to pay
and I'm not, let me tell you.
huge money to get him here tonight, and we're glad he is.
Maybe when Ken's watching back later, this performance of his team, that we can have a bit of a chat about.
Russell's hoping it goes to
remuneration.
He's hoping it goes to overtime or double overtime. He gets paid by every 10 minutes, so he's really looking for some free basketball. Well, not free for the club paying Russell Lee, but free for the rest of us at least.
Absolutely.
Restarting this game. Sturt flicks back to Gibson. So Gibson's starting the second half. A lot of contact, and they're going to call a charge. So there's been some interesting officiating so far in this one. A lot being let go and then a lot not being let go.
Definitely an interpretation, I'll call it, on that play. Ken Harrington on his feet seeking some sort of explanation.
Spoken like a true soon-to-be principal, Russell Lee. It's on the cards for him.
Interesting call, let's just say that.
Here's Williams. Goes down low to Gatlin. Likes working in this mid-post area. Good step. He got triple teamed and still finished over the defence to Marcus Gatlin.
And you could argue that was a foul as well. Absolutely. Great job by DeMarcus Gatlin to take the contact and finish off the board there on that penetration. Nice move by Sturt.
Great move from Adrian Sturt. Went to the left, finished with the high arcing hook. Lead back to 10.
Gatlin with the ball on the wing, just pointing at his teammates, indicating where they need to move against this Hawks defence. Open layup, slightly contested by Fennell and then hard off the backboard.
Gibson, little 1-2 with Snow in rhythm, couldn't get it to go. Marlo Hicks, and now here's DeMarcus Gatlin against Snow. Good defence. It's going to go the way of Geelong. And Matt Snow just wondering if maybe there was a charge in there, but no call. Out of bounds is the decision. Again, that charge circle really coming into play tonight, Russell.
It seems to be, yeah. It's definitely going to be on that highlight reel, no doubt. That charge zone in the middle of the key.
And the floor wipers getting their 15 seconds of fame here. And I've been roasting Ken Harrington whenever he comes up here that we need to do some work on our floor wiping. So I believe the past few weeks it's been no basketball for the juniors, all floor wiping practice. As Williams goes off the back of Adrian Sturt to himself, finishes and one, and that one will be going straight to the NBL1 top 10.
No doubt about it. He's Ringwood flat-footed, unawares, and a level of brilliance that we don't see enough.
Disappointingly ruined my poorly crafted gag, but anyways, it was an impressive play from Williams.
And he's able to finish and one situation deficit for the Hawks, now 13, trailing 49 to 36.
Here's Fennell, looked to turn the corner, instead gave it off to Sturt. He hesitated, that's a tough look. Sean Clark comes down with the board, gives it to Snow. Gibson's there, they go to Fennell. He's back on, Sturt another rebound. So keeping the ball alive and keeping Ringwood in this game. They trail by 13. Can they cut the lead here? Here's Gibson. He shoots a 3. They cannot get one to go at the moment. 2 of 13 from deep. And in some real strife, the Ringwood Hawks at the moment.
Wusu with some handles being guarded by Gibson, able to deflect it a little bit. DeMarcus Gatlin, little running jumper, and he is now up to 19 points. 51-36.
So this game getting away from the Ringwood Hawks at the moment. Lob to Sturt, and he buried it. That was a well-crafted play and a good find from Matty Snow. Into this zone now by the looks of things for Ringwood.
Snow yelling hard directions on the defensive end at his teammates. Gatlin again taking it at Sean Clark. Another deuce. 21 points. They have got to stop the bleeding. And the bleeding is DeMarcus Gatlin. Good steal there by Thomas. Gatlin transition triple, unable to connect. Now Thomas on the offensive rebound.
Oh, and he liked
Williams.
his own work as well, Lewis Thomas.
Did he ever? Nails the triple. 38-56 in favour of Geelong as coach Ken Harrington gets a timeout to regroup his roster.
He's well and truly seen enough. 38-56, and it's a strong start for Geelong here in this second half. They're on a nice little 5-zip run at the moment and doing plenty of work. Williams 11, Gatlin 21, and Thomas, he has 8, 4, 4, and 2 steals. We read out some of the women's results earlier on, so let's have a look at what is going on in some of the men's game around the league. It's Bendigo leading Diamond Valley in a very tight one with about 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter at Bendigo Stadium in Frankston. Well, they lead the Melbourne Tigers by 10 points at the start of the fourth. Tassie, they lead 68-75 over Kilsyth, the Thunder. So, they trail 68-75 against Kilsyth, and that is with 6:10 left to play in the fourth. Ballarat lead Hobart 45-32. Nuttawading absolutely destroying Knox. An incredible scoreline, 80-46, with still 2.5 to play in the third quarter. 15 points to Chronopolis, 14 to Simon Conn, 13 off the bench to NBL player Lucas Walker.
Back here for third period action at the Rings, Ringwood versus Geelong. After a timeout by coach Ken Harrington, looking to regroup.
And they get one of those little blocking fouls that I think the Ringwood Hawks have been looking for all night. And Trevor Latham had a good seal inside the paint there, but they couldn't quite get him the ball. Some good help defence from Geelong.
There'll be no doubt looking at him as much as they can. He had a great first half with 11 points, was leading all scorers until the last 83% from the field. Thank you for pointing that out, Hickey. Before Sturt overtook him, now the leading scorer for the Hawks at 12 points. Great offensive rebound by Gibson. Finished with 2, and boy did he need that. Only shooting 13% from the field up until that point. Gibson with 2 points. He brings his tally to 4, and 4 rebounds to go alongside.
If he can get going, then maybe Ringwood will be able to drag themselves back into this ball game. He was been sensational for the season before he got hurt, and there's a turnover from Matt Fennell.
Yeah, disappointing. Gatlin unable to finish over Latham on the offensive end, and Fennell looking to kick it to Gibson for a triple in the short corner, but enough defensive pressure for him to have to change his pass and bounce out of court.
The zone again from Ringwood. Here's Gatlin, Sturt in front of him, now down to Thomas. He's already nailed 1-3 this quarter. Gatlin flicks Owusu in the corner. Not quite, he hasn't been able to find his range, and here's Matt Snow. Up court to Adrian Sturt. Lob ball to Gibson, now to Fennell. Flicks to Gibson again. Takes the contact and finishes. Great play from Jacob Gibson. And Owusu just has that great job of being able to contest without being able to foul.
Yeah, this should get Gibson's confidence up. It's nice to see as a shooter, a couple of nice little layups go in and, build that confidence for the next opportunity from deep. Will be really important for him as we have a loose ball foul here on Trev Latham, I'm assuming, as he seeks...
I think it is on Matt Fennell. We'll wait and have a look. It was on either Latham or Fenella. Actually, I think you're right, it is on Latham. And he really wasn't happy with the call. He thought he was the one that was getting held by Marlo Hicks.
He definitely sought clarification from the referee.
Which makes sense because Latham was the one that was going for the ball. But anyways, we play on Marlo Hicks' pull-up jumper. It couldn't go, and Latham gets the ball. Halfway through the third quarter, it is the Geelong Supercats, the visitors. They lead 56-42. But Jacob Gibson slowly starting to find his stroke. Ball goes to Latham. He has a mismatch, just shoots over the top of Williams, and that was all too easy for Trevor Latham.
Yeah, Trevor Latham continues to be a juggernaut offensively, now with 13 points, shooting a very high percentage from the field, 86% now. And if I was the Hawks, I'd be going to him as much as I can.
Gatlin to Owusu, turns the corner, floater, not quite, loose ball, Owusu, jeez, he's energetic. Eventually comes out, and it's going to be Matt Snow with those giant biceps curled around that basketball.
A bit of an indictment there for the Hawks. You know, Owusu was able to get his hands on the ball. He was surrounded by 4 Hawks. As Snow, as you say, pulls in that loose ball, kicks it to Sturt on the perimeter, nails the triple, and now we've got only a 9-point game.
Just like the women's game, it's going back and forth, 9-zip run for Ringwood, and that was a pretty little no-looker from Matty Snow. Here's Williams to stop the run. Couldn't get it to go. Matty Fennell with a strong rebound. Latham, not quite the man that they want, bringing the ball up the court. He does the smart decision, stops and gives it to the floor general, Matt Snow, who's got 5 assists so far tonight. Gives it to Latham, and we'll get it straight back. Williams just delivering an elbow to Gibson, and he forgot that he was actually defending him because then Gibson popped out, buried 2, 11-0 run to Ringwood, and they're dragging themselves back into this one.
Yeah, very, very physical out on the floor there, as you mentioned. Williams really getting stuck into Gibson off the ball, really disallowing him those opportunities. He answers back with a triple of his own, and there's a lot of jawing going on now between Williams and Gibson.
This game getting a little bit out of hand at the moment. Don't be surprised if the officials start calling a few quick whistles. Here's Snow. Draws the contact, buries the shot, and Jacob Gibson and Anthony Williams are drawing back and forth out here on the floor. Gibson up to 8 points. Williams has got 14 with 3 assists and 2 rebounds. 8-point ball game. Gatlin. It's been quite a little bit over the past few minutes. Hicks, nice ball fake. Just buries his way inside the paint. He's an absolute bull.
Yeah, just smart, high percentage look. Get your big man in the low post. You did mention, Hickey, that Gatlin had been quiet, but you know, I think getting other guys an opportunity to put the ball through the hoop, so they're not relying so heavily on him down the stretch, is a good thing. I'd like to see Sturt get it through some hands here.
They got no time on the shot clock. Snow's just going to have to shoot it. They did not get it off in time. Gibson wanted the ball. He had the mismatch on Williams down low. They couldn't get it to him. And we've got a substitution on the floor. Actually, we've got a timeout to coach Leon O'Neill, 51-61. And a good little fight back here for Ringwood in this game, getting a bit willing, Russell Lee.
That it is. The Ringwood three-point shooting, it still isn't spectacular, but they're doing a good job converting mid-range, 55% from 2. They're shooting a high percentage from the foul line as well at 75, 6 of 8. We've seen Jacob Gibson come alive a little bit. 6 points so far this quarter. Trev Latham also continuing his great work from the first half. Gatlin remains at 21 points, been a little bit quieter so far this half, but he's had other guys step in. Williams now to 14 points. Hicks, 8 points, 4 rebounds, and Thomas doing a little bit of everything, 8 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists.
So an interesting game as we head into the final 2 minutes of this third quarter. And some momentum from Ringwood would make it a very interesting finish in the fourth. And that final game that I missed out on when reading out the scores so far in the men's was at the Lauren Jackson Sports Centre, Albury-Wodonga. They lead 70-47 over Eltham about halfway through the third quarter in that one.
Thomas inbounding. Now Williams with the ball for Geelong. After that timeout by Coach O'Neill. Hawks back in a man situation.
And it's going to be pinged for a moving screen, and it's on Williams.
Interesting there. I think Snowy set him up a little bit. Stepped in front as
Bit of a veteran-savvy play, you think, Russell?
Absolutely. As you know, just look to trail that pass. Very, very intelligent.
So a chance for Ringwood to cut it to single digits. Good backdoor pass, but it was a little too hot for Joey Miller. Bounced off his chest and out of bounds. Here's Rabula at the top.
Back to his zone.
Back to the zone, just as I was about to mention. You're all over it, Russell Lee.
I like interrupting you.
Thomas needs to be done. I talk far too much. Lewis Thomas missed a little gimme off the backboard. Here's Joey Miller. Oh, and Trevor Latham was very open for a second there. Eventually Sturt gets it down to Latham, who's played well so far. Here's Miller.
Wow, such physicality there on defence, and the
they're
officials allowing it.
A kick ball. I thought they were about to call a foul on Latham for a push. But you're right, there is so much physicality going on at the moment on the ball handler. You see it a lot down low. Normally they let a bit go for the big fellas. But plenty going on as Gibson gets to that corner jumper and he buried it. Back to 8 points.
Gibson now up to 10. So we're expecting him to have a bigger impact as this game rolls on now that he's got some confidence around his offense. Wow, interesting offense there as Thomas turns and floats it over to McInerney for a nice one off the backboard. Easy deuce.
Any way you can get him, Russell.
Couldn't agree more. Just starting to get more and more guys involved now, the Supercats, and I like this approach.
Gatlin's still on 21 points as Latham lost the handle, wanted the foul, didn't get it. It's going to stay Ringwood basketball. And it is Ringwood ball, so I wonder if the refs are just going to have a word to any of the players as Matt Fennell's going to check in. Adrian Sturt will come out. They they just want to give him a quick minute break, and he's likely to play the entirety of the fourth quarter, and Truman comes in for Matt Snow, and it's likely to be a similar setup. But plenty of being said out there on the floor, and the refs they may have come to, they may have just had enough soon, I'm guessing, Russell Lee.
Look, I think they'll need to reel it back in a little bit.
And that's going to be out on Jacob Gibson. So he was the inbounder on that play. They try to change it up. A lot of the time he comes in and shoots that little short corner jumper from the baseline. That time he was looking to inbound it and flare back out to the corner for the three, but good hands. Geelong basketball, they lead by 10. Chance for a 2-for-1, but they've taken their time here, so they may not get it. Thomas wanted the reverse layup, didn't. Gatlin, great no-look pass and a good finish from Michael Rabula. And now Ringwood will likely hold for one because we're down to 15 seconds left in the quarter.
Yeah, that was a great no-look pass by Gatlin to Rabula. That little mid-range jump shot of his has been money for a number of years at a youth level, Big V championship level, C-ball level. Unfortunately, didn't hold for the last shot. Rabula with a chance at a half-court shot. Way too hard, though.
So Joey Miller attempted to get himself going there at the end of the third, but couldn't quite, and so it is a 12-point lead to the Geelong Supercats. We're going to take a short break and be back to wrap this one up with a final quarter. Hello and welcome back, and what a nice welcome back it was. We still need that lozenge for Russell Lee. He's coughing up a lung, and he's going to run out of lungs soon enough. We're restarting this ball game, 12-point lead to Geelong.
I've coughed like 3 times. You are shocking.
3 times too many for my liking, Russell. It's been a low-scoring game. Defense has been high quality. McInerney, good read from Miller. Gatlin, Williams likes it from the top of the key. Couldn't get that one to go. Copped a little contact from Gibson. 2 guys that have been jawing all night long.
That they have. Miller brings it back down for the Hawks. Offense. Double high screen situation. Fennell lurking baseline. They go to him. Help defense comes.
And I thought it was going to be a gigantic block, but it's going to be a foul and 2 free throws for Sean Clark. It was a good find though, Russell Lee.
Oh, that it was, and I think you're right. It was a gigantic block, and on this occasion, again, the referees are much closer than us, but it looked like it was incredibly clean. Sean Clark, though, is at the line.
And as we mentioned prior to the break between three-quarter time and this fourth quarter, expect maybe the officials to tighten it up a little bit. That third quarter got a little bit willing between the players. They had plenty to say back to the officials, so they may just look to tighten it up and call some early fouls, set a tone for this final quarter. Sean Clark cuts the lead back to 10.
Yeah, if they're going to have any opportunity to contest for the W here, the Hawks are going to need to get it to single digits and keep it there.
Until they get the lead back.
Well, ideally.
McInerney, the big fella.
I can't allow things like that, is what I'm saying. They want to keep it in striking distance at single digits.
Rocking the LeBron Zoom soldiers, the pretty red shoes, and he buries that triple. Gibson turn around, loves it from the corner, and he's starting to find his shot, and it's good to see after spending some time on the sidelines. Injured Jacob Gibson, who was shooting just 13% at one point. He's up to 12 points, shooting around 50% from the field.
He's done a good job to turn his game around as McInerney makes a great baseline move for a reverse layup against Sean Clark. Just too quick on that first step.
Has had limited opportunity, the big fella, but he's up to 9 points. Doing some good work, 80% from the field. Gibson runs into trouble. Gatlin running. Miller fouled him, and he almost was strong enough to finish it. Couldn't quite. Thought maybe he was going to try and posterize Joey Miller, but he'll go to the line to shoot 2. And we've got an early timeout on the floor, this one to Ken Harrington and Ringwood. Up to 15 turnovers, the Hawks, and starting to become an issue, Russell.
Yeah, that it is. And at one point we were talking about the Hawks and the Supercats having 7 turnovers apiece. But Supercats now only have 9, 15 out for the Hawks. It's just posing a problem there. The defensive pressure from the Supercats are just forcing Ringwood to make errors left, right and centre.
13 points, the difference. The hosts are in a little bit of strife at the moment. 8:18 left in the final quarter. 57-70. In terms of the game lead as well, DeMarcus Gatlin, he's got 21. Was pretty quiet through that third quarter, but it was other players that managed to step up. Williams has got 14. McInerney now has popped up for 9. Adrian Sturt for Ringwood has 15. Latham 13. He's been excellent off the bench, Trevor Latham.
Yeah, he absolutely has. Shooting a great percentage from the field. He's been the offense that Ringwood have been missing for pretty much the entirety of this game. I pose an interesting question, Hickey. That Ringwood have backed off looking for the triple and have done a great job attacking the rim and looking inside. They've been 3 on 15 from deep for a very long period in this game. When does Ken advise his players to start pulling the trigger to see if they can dig themselves out by shooting incredibly well from 3 like we know a number of their players can?
Right now would be my answer.
Okay.
Right now.
Excellent. Let's see if that's
it's
the topic of that timeout.
It's a game that they can be fantastic at. We know the shooting of this Ringwood team over the years and in the Big V competition, a fantastic outside shooting team. And they've made a good effort to get to the ring. And that's probably kept them within touching distance. But now's the time. You've got to put them to the sword. And I think now with Nathan Truman on the floor, as that is a foul. And maybe a soft one considering what's gone on earlier in the game. But now with Nathan Truman inserted into the game, expect there to be plenty of threes launched from distance, I think. Russell, what would you do?
Oh, look, I think it's got to be an option for them.
Speaking of, couldn't get it to go, though, Jacob Gibson. Good
offensive rebound there by Fennell. Deep in the corner. Just too hot there. Way too hot from Truman to Gibson as he cut across the key. Deflected out of bounds by the Supercats. So Ringwood will inbound baseline.
Interesting lob. Truman wanted it off. Oh, nice little bit of handles from Joey Miller. Stopped and popped when the red seed parted in front of him, but made the deuce. It's back to 12. And we've got 7:45 left to go in the final quarter.
No doubt that Coach Ken Harrington will look back to Sturt too. We talk about prowess from deep and the ability to score in chunks, even streaks, and none better than Adrian Sturt, particularly on recent form.
No doubt he will not spend long on the sidelines. You'd expect is Joey Miller coming off a pick with Matt Fennell. Eventually gets it down low against McInerney, and it was this quick, smart decision. And I know it's something you're big on, having played underneath you, make quick decisions in the low block.
I'm glad you remember a few things around my coaching, Hickey. But that was an elite move by Fennell. Spun round before Liam McInerney knew what was going on, and a nice little throw off the backboard for another 2, cutting it to 10.
Williams, hard of the basket, gets the friendly roll.
A lot of contact there too. That physicality just creeping back in.
12 points the difference. Here's Gibson. Can he get going? And he buries a big triple. Cuts the lead back now to single digits. So can Jacob Gibson bring his team over the line and get him right back into this one? Gatlin, oh, too good. Turned the corner. Gibson just a step slow when his power was incredible. DeMarcus Gatlin off the dribble.
Yeah, another elite move. He's up to 24 points now for the game.
Got arms like yours, Russell, a little bit actually.
Yeah, that's
Big gun
real,
show.
real observant of you.
Matty Fennell for 3. He buried it. So this is the three-point shooting we were talking about, Russell. You mentioned it. And now the Ringwood Hawks starting to connect with a couple, and that changes the look of this game. It's back to 8 points.
Now we know that they can shoot, and I suppose there's just a hope that Geelong put up shots like that. Not the best choice there.
Nathan Friend, and that was very unfriendly off the backboard.
Some of your best work there, Hickey.
Yeah. I'm here all night, well, until the final buzzer. Here's Joey Miller. Kicks to Truman. Can he bury one? Here come the Ringwood Hawks. Another triple, and we've got a 5-point ball game, Russell. This one's going down the wire, perhaps.
I think it will. I think I just saw Sturt get up and signal to the bench he may be looking to check back in.
And now he's set back down because this 5 is on fire. We've got a substitution, Owusu, the defensive powerhouse, Hicks and Lewis Thomas in. So I think Leon O'Neill had seen just about enough from his bench unit.
I don't think they've done a terrible job. But, you know, you've got to live or die by the sword. And for Ringwood, the sword is that 3-point shot, and they've been able to nail 3 of their last 4. So despite shooting at a mere 30% or 20% for that matter from deep up until the 3-quarter time, they're now 3 of 4 this quarter, 75%. They're like free throws for them at the moment. Let's see if they can maintain.
So Ringwood with the ball, they trail by just 5. Truman in the corner. Here's Clark. No look to Miller. And he couldn't get one to go. That would have almost brought the roof down here in Ringwood. Plenty of options for Sean Clark. He found an open shooter. Joey Miller couldn't knock it down. Owusu. Fennell follows Gatlin through. Can Gatlin get going and put Geelong back out to a decent lead? He gave the ball. Great find to Lewis Thomas. All class to Marcus Gatlin.
Yeah, great job. Ringwood did a good job anticipating him driving baseline that time, which is excellent. As Fennell open triple, and there you go. Just like that, we've got a 4-point game. The bench was just a little bit overzealous there, adding 4 points for that shot.
Everyone's excited here at the Rings for this final 4.5 minutes in what's been a game where Geelong look like they've been in control all night. Williams.
Great offense.
Good pass from Lewis Thomas. Jeez, he's a classy unit. But Geelong look like they've had control of the game all night, and Ringwood now just making a little bit of a run, shooting the ball well from deep. Fennell will cut back door. Now he flares. He wants another one. He does shoot another one. And he buries another one. Matty Fennell's in his bag right now, and he says, come on, let's go, Ringwood.
That's special. Nothing more to say. Nothing more to say. Ringwood's three-point shooting now up to 36. They've hit 4.
And that is going to be a foul on Jacob Gibson. Ken Harrington cannot believe it. And it's going to be 2 free throws for DeMarcus Gatlin.
I'd need to see that one again, Hickey.
Really not pleased with it. Joey Miller saying, don't worry, Jacob, I'll go chat to the ref. I'm nice and calm. And he's just asking the question. And the ref, though, sticking to their call, surprise, surprise. And now they're just seeing if the shot went in or not. I do not believe the shot went in. So it'll be 2 free throws. So 2 shots for DeMarcus Gatlin at the line. And Russell, where do you fall on that one?
Well, I didn't get a great look at it. I have to admit, I'd like to see it again. And no doubt I'll be able to see it on a repeat of footage with this amazing commentary over the top.
That's in your post-game review?
Absolutely, yeah. It is. Just having a look at Miller and Truman over with one of our officials closer to our bench here. He was indicating that it wasn't full front on, if that makes sense. There was a little bit of...
He was out of the charge circle, so take that out of it. To me, probably a no call. But anyways, he made 1 free throw and on with the game. Clark looking to go on Hicks. Tough shot. Really tough shot.
Not a great shot.
And let's see. The ref's going to stop the game and give a warning to Gibson and Williams. And to be honest, it's about 10 minutes too late. If you just stop the game earlier, it doesn't get to that point. But anyways, it's going to be Geelong ball. They lead by 4, 3.5 to go. So just saying, cut it out to Gibson and Williams, despite them really drawing all night.
Don't mind that, but as you say, it's been going on for most of this second half. So
have those 2 plays, that little stoppage, suck the momentum away from Ringwood. Let's see what Geelong have. They go for the lob to Gatlin, but Sean Clark stuck up his hand. It wasn't a tall enough pass. Here's Fennell. He's really feeling it, and he got fouled. And now we'll go to the line to shoot 2, and Lewis Thomas cannot believe he got fouled. This is a willing contest, Russell, and complaining after every single whistle at the moment.
That they are. Just recalling back to your halftime conversation with young Brady, our ambassador for Aussie Clubfoot Kids, and the money being raised for tonight's game. And he did say to you that Ringwood have never lost in a clubfoot game.
They have a 100% record in the clubfoot games.
And I just wonder if that insightful young man has just made a call pre-game that could come to fruition here, despite the fact that Geelong have what I would call dominated so far.
Indeed. It's great stats for the Ringwood Hawks, and they look to make it another win in a clubfoot game. It's been a fantastic night. Can they put the exclamation point on it? Hicks got fouled. And Lewis Thomas still complaining. He wanted the foul despite his teammate picking up the ball and getting to the line to shoot free throws. 3-point ball game. Marlo Hicks to the line. Marlo Hicks just such a solid player, isn't he? Just does the right thing. Rarely makes a bad decision out there on the floor, Marlo Hicks. Spent time, I believe, at Nunawading in the Siebel competition. Corio Bay in the Big V, and now NBL1 with Geelong. And he makes the first free throw. An experienced competitor and a very smart player out there on the floor, Marlo Hicks. And I've put the Moz on him right there. Built him up and he missed the second free throw. 4-point ball game, 2:45 left in the final quarter. Ringwood still coming. Can they get a basket to go here? Miller shoots the in-rhythm 3. That was always short.
He had more time than he realised there. Could have set his feet a little bit more. Unbalanced.
And he's had a bit of a tough night shooting the basketball, 33%, just the 9 points. So 10 assists, which is fantastic for him. But maybe should facilitate there. It was a wide open look, so no complaints from Ken Harrington. Thomas turns the corner. He'll probably want another foul. He didn't get it. No complaints, so Lewis Thomas gets on with the job. There was contact there. Miller almost open again. Fennell, he shoots the 3. He's feeling it, and that did everything but drop. The Ringwood faithful were riding that shot all the way to the basket.
Yeah, again, another quick trigger shot. I'd like to see Ringwood get it through a few more hands potentially.
Great pass from DeMarcus Gatlin. And Marlo Hicks with a classy finish back out to a 6-point ball game. Geez, those two are fantastic. DeMarcus Gatlin doing great work with and without the ball. And that's going to be a foul on Marlo Hicks, and he puts up his hand and he says, indeed it was. So now the next foul will mean free throws for Ringwood, whereas it's another foul in hand back the other way. So Gatlin up to 25, 7 and 5. Marlo Hicks now 11 points, shooting 63% from the field.
Would like to see the Hawks get Gibson another touch here.
Indeed, he hasn't really had a whole lot of it after nailing that corner triple. Miller to Gibson. He'll want it, and that was not the shot. Gatlin picked it up. Great defense from DeMarcus Gatlin. He's been the difference between the two teams. They get the ball to Lewis Thomas. It was a smart decision, and he yelled out to Williams just to hold it. Relax, and he did. They lead by 6, and a basket here would almost put the nail in the coffin for the Ringwood Hawks. Here's Williams. Cop the foul. He'll go to the free throw line. Truman puts his hand up and says, yep, that's on me. And interestingly, Adrian Sturt's still on the pine.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we needed the foul there. Falling away from the bucket. Do you hope that it was a difficult shot and that Sean Clark and Matty Fennell have the ability to rebound the ball? A player like Williams is going to miss free throws very often, pushing this lead out to potentially 8 with only 1:12 to go.
Both teams in the bonus now as well. Williams makes the second. Ken Harrington not calling a timeout. So a quick basket here for Ringwood. Love to see the ball in the hands of maybe Matty Fennell. Miller hesitated. Geez, that's a tough pass to reel in, and Jacob Gibson couldn't do it. So the run may be falling a bit short here for the Ringwood Hawks as it starts to unravel. They trail by 8 with a minute to go. Defensive
pressure by Geelong down the stretch has just been excellent, or across the game, I should say, forcing the number of turnovers they have. 16 to 17, the Hawks seem to be up to now. They've done an incredible job to worry out the Stars in the offensive sets they would normally find as their bread and butter, as DeMarcus Gatlin draws another foul and will head to the line with his 25 points, 8 rebound, 5 assist game.
And could have easily had more to Marcus Gatlin, but he's been unselfish and he's been happy to be part of the offense despite feeling it in the early parts of the game as he comes up short on the first free throw. But he's played a very smart ball game, shooting over 50% from the field, 25 points, 8 rebounds and 5 assists. So credit to Gatlin. And again, I have to give big props to Owusu, who I think his defensive intensity has really set the tone as Joey Miller launches a 3. Can't get it to go. Lewis Thomas, again, another guy who's been fantastic. He's saying, please, just give me one foul. He's got 10, 8 and 7. But Owusu's defensive intensity has set the tone for Geelong, and it's ridden them to a victory at the moment. Williams looked like he was about to explode for a dunk, but he didn't get there, laying it up, and that will just about do it, you'd think. Ringwood are going to run their offense. Clark, Truman, and the perfect record as Gibson can't make the 3. And the clubfoot game sadly comes to an end. It's been a fantastic night raising money for Miracle Feet, but sadly in the second game the Ringwood Hawks come up short. A good showing from the Geelong Supercats, 88 to 77. They run out victors. DeMarcus Gatlin leading the way for 26 points, and Russell Lee, why don't you run us through some of the stats and how you saw what was an interesting game of basketball and a good late run for Ringwood. However, an 8-zip scoring run to finish the game from Geelong sealed the victory.
Yeah, that it did. It was Ringwood's offensive efficiency that really caused them to struggle across the first 3 quarters in particular. Credit goes to the Geelong defence. Did a really good job worrying them out of what they wanted to do, contesting shots, and as we mentioned, 20% from deep at 3/4 time is unlike this Ringwood outfit, who we know can shoot pretty much every guy on their roster. As you say, prerequisite of Ken Harrington to sign a player. They need to be able to shoot the ball from deep. They went on a little run where they nailed a few triples to begin the 4th period. After that Ken Harrington timeout, it was a chance to gamble, and did they gamble? Got it to 3 points at one stage, but unable to sustain that shooting prowess. And credit to Geelong for lifting their defensive intensity once again to run out 11-point victors. Leading Geelong was DeMarcus Gatlin, 26 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. That is a stat line and a half. Thomas, as you mentioned, Hickey, 10 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists.
Did a bit of everything.
Yeah, we could have been on a triple-double alert there for a little bit of that game. For the Hawks, leading the way, Matty Fennell, 16 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. He hit some big triples to close that gap in the final period. Jacob Gibson did eventually come alive, had 15 and 4. And Adrian Sturt rounds out the top scorers for the Hawks with 15. He also had 8 rebounds. Joey Miller, I will mention right at the end there, 10 assists, which is not a bad effort despite not shooting incredibly well from the field at 30% also.
And fell just 1 point short of a double-double. Well, a fantastic night draws to a close here at Ringwood. Thanks to everybody who's tuned in and everybody who came down to the rings and chipped in some money and bought a raffle ticket, all that stuff. We did a great job, and of course Brady did a fantastic job leading the charge as he always does. A fantastic young man right there as we raise money for Miracle Feet. Again, if you're not sure what it's all about, make sure you get online and check it out. Russell Lee, thank you again for joining me, mate. Always a pleasure to have you up here in the commentary box.
I appreciate that, Hickey. Pleasure. Right back at you. You're a champion at what you do, and great call. Well done.
Despite me rocking up a few minutes late in the first game. But anyways, car troubles, there's out of my control.
Ken's docking your pay. He's already said it.
That's fair enough, Sue. So there you go. The women, well, the Ringwood Hawks women, they came up trumps, giving Geelong their second loss of the season. But it was the Geelong Supercats men who won in the second game of the night, 88-77. That's all we've got here. On behalf of Russell Lee, my name is Matt Hickey. We hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend.